and start the recording. We do live stream these, and we do post the recordings on our Facebook page at clrn.ar. So it's available for absent friends. And we feel very good about those three ways that you can get the message in and out. I'm Kathy Wells. I'm president of the Coalition of Little Rock Neighborhoods. Welcome to the November 8th, 2025 monthly meeting of the Coalition of Little Rock Neighborhoods. I'm president. I'm also with the Downtown Neighborhood Association as vice president. We'd like to start out by introducing our folks around the table. Robert?
I'm Robert Walker from Ward 3, and I live across the freeway in the Capitol View Station Neighborhood Association, but I'm not an officer or anything, and I don't represent them.
I'm Mary Henthorne from Ward 4.
Carol Miles from Ward 1.
Norman?
Sheriff Eric Higgins, Pulaski County Sheriff.
Well, we were going to come back to you,
Okay.
Big Star, but that works too.
Okay.
Denise Leeson, Ward 1, Central High Neighborhood.
Norman Hodges, Heights Neighborhood Association, resident, Ward 3.
So we have a span, and we have a range of groups that concern themselves with mutual interest. That's what's brought us together. It's our 5 points back in 1990. Some we've achieved, most notably budgeting the city public works money for sidewalks where there weren't any. Clearly more demand than supply, so we understand why they're saying, well, we will work on sidewalks leading you to a school or something, and I need it. Our sheriff for this hour is, try that again. Our speaker for this hour is Sheriff Eric Higgins, who has successfully run a reentry program from the Pulaski County Jail with an impressively low rate of repeat offenders. I believe it's 6%, is that right?
Yes, ma'am, 6%.
And sadly, commonly out of prisons and across the nation, it runs closer to, is it 50% now or worse?
Yes.
50%. So tell us what you're doing that works, Sheriff.
Okay. Well, a couple things I want to do is kind of give you a little background, and then I want to show or maybe what I'll do first is show the video. Kind of talks about our reentry program. We started in 2019 after I took office, and the reason I started this is when I retired from Little Rock Police Department. I was assistant chief there 30 years, retired in 2015, and then started working with the reentry program, started volunteering with the program, trying to help people come out of prison and to be successful. And it's things I learned from those students that we interacted with. One, the importance of community, bringing people together, like-minded, who are trying to improve themselves. And so I decided to start a program. When I decided to run for sheriff in 2018, I wanted to bring a reentry program to the sheriff's office. I believe that reentry that the state does at the state level, some of those programs are good. But I don't think we need to wait until someone spends 10 to 15 years in prison to try to assist them. The Pulaski County Jail we're built for 1210. We average 1330 in the facility, so we're overpopulated. Around 70% to 80% of people booked into a county jail are released to the community. They're not going to prison, they're coming home. And so
Now, see, that makes contrast with headlines in which you imagine that you're stuffed with people on their way to state prison. So what is your balance?
So we average around 200, 250 in our jail that are convicted and waiting for bed space. So there is a backup in the county jails waiting for bed space in prisons. And we've tried to address that with the state. Our proposal that we presented to the state a few years ago was to do a swap to receive people who are paroling to Pulaski County, have them go through our reentry program, and then, if, for example, starting a pilot program, we say I received 10, and then we would send 10 out of our facility who are waiting for bed space.
So catch them on the backside instead of the front side of their term.
Well, we would catch the ones in prison on their backside. Because what happens often is a person's released, and it takes time to adjust to the community. Where are you staying? You have to get out there and get a job and all those things. So what we wanted to do was take those individuals who are paroling to Pulaski County. We know they're coming here. So let them come into our facility about 7 months before they're released. So they're still under under state care. And so the state it wouldn't cost the state any more money. Because the individuals in our facility, once they are convicted and the paperwork is received at the state from the prosecutor's office, they accept that everything's correct, they accept that detainee. They're still in our facility, so the state will start paying for that individual's care. And so if you took 10 out of our facility, the state's paying for it. And you bring 10 into our facility, the state is paying for it. So it doesn't cost the state any more money. What it does is increase the likelihood that that individual will be released and maybe not reoffend. As in our program, we work on the individual in our program to try to address some of the underlying issues that cause a person to be incarcerated. Currently, with our program, it is accepted or recognized by most of the circuit court judges, the prosecutor's office, and the public defender's office. And so now they are recommending people to our program. And there's a process to get into our program. An individual in the facility can get on a kiosk and say, I'm interested in the reentry program. They'll fill out an application. We'll have individuals interview them. The people that do the interviews are folks that work for us that have lived experience. They've been in prison, been incarcerated, been in county jail, dealt with addiction, all those things. And they will do the interview of the individual. Then once the person is accepted into the program, we transfer them into a separate unit. We have a separate pod that we create community in so they can get acclimated to that environment. And so I'm going to show a little video. I'll try to get this up and running again. This video is something we put together, I believe it was end of last year.
How long is the video, Sheriff?
It's about 5 minutes. That's okay.
Mary, our technician, could we get that video emailed to us and then posted?
If he can email or give me a link to the video, I can post it.
Yeah, let's try for that, Sheriff.
Okay. So so you don't want to play the video at all?
We want you to play it, but we
Okay,
know
okay.
that will not be the best viewing.
Okay.
So if they can just pull that up direct on another sort of post, that would be ideal, if we can make that happen.
Or it stopped. It was up and running. I have witnesses.
It was, yeah.
But now it's showtime.
So we'll be balky.
Up and running.
They always know when it's important not to fall down.
And I have learned that files will fall out of my thumb drive when I'm taking it from one computer to the other. They'll fall on the floor and I can't see them because they're not on the same computer.
That's awful.
Okay, I apologize.
We are sympathetic to your problem. It happens to us all the time.
If you toggle with Alt-Tab, will that go to it?
Yeah, Alt-Tab might work.
You had to say something. That made it work.
There it is.
Can you get that volume up?
Could have been faced with 20 years.
Mercedes Anthony and Prentice Hall found themselves incarcerated at the Pulaski County Detention Center, facing decades of time behind bars. With limited options, both Anthony and Hall decided to apply for the CSI reentry program. It was a decision that would transform their lives for the better. The CSI Academy began in 2019 as Sheriff Higgins implemented a focused effort to prepare inmates for successful reentry back into society. Kathy McConnell is the program director.
I lost my son to drug addiction. My son overdosed on fentanyl 4 years ago.
80% of those in the CSI reentry program are affected by drug addiction. McConnell is passionate about her role in transforming lives, thus preventing tragic outcomes and creating a safer Pulaski County for all its citizens.
We are working with your neighbors here, your uncles, your aunts, your brothers, your sisters, your daddies. And when we change their mindset into being productive, into being hopeful, into being positive, into being sober, and in phase 2 give you job training, then they will become better citizens when they're released to move in next door.
CSI Academy classes are taken over a period of 12 weeks. The program is funded primarily by grants and foundational funds. Classes and homework challenge criminal mindsets with practical principles of hope, self-worth, and personal responsibility.
What does it look like if you're in a stage of denial and anger?
Success of CSI reentry weighs heavily on volunteer involvement. Kamiko Covington is one of numerous individuals who give of their time to make a difference.
You are sowing into someone's life. You are making a difference. You are making an impact, not only in an individual's life, but in a family's life and in a community.
Come in, talk to them, pray with them, let them know that they do need something and still a little hope. Let them be human beings again.
CSI Academy Graduation Day is a celebration of a great accomplishment and an occasion to be hopeful for families, friends, staff, and especially graduates.
What an incredible journey this has been. I'm so thankful God gave me this opportunity to get closer to Him and grow exponentially into the woman He created me to be.
My success is measured by how much I have made or will make, but only by how well I am able to manage that pressure.
So whatever happened to Mercedes Anthony and Prentice Hall? The good news is both completed the CSI Reentry Academy and are once again successful members of society. Facing a life term, Mercedes served 18 months and now serves as a peer recovery specialist with the CSI Academy. Prentice served 24 months and now an entrepreneur. He operates 3 Bond Construction Company Incorporated. Hall stays connected as a volunteer, teaching weekly at the Pulaski County Detention Center in the CSI Academy. Both feel this program put them on a path for a productive life.
I just said today that it feels like I'm in a movie. I can't even wrap my mind around the beauty that my life has today. I've had great job after great job. I've got so many friends that I can't even keep up with all of them. I talk to every member of my family, and I have their trust now, as well as their forgiveness.
I make sure that I take everything that's been taught to me and instilled in me and try to give that back, not only to the men that I go back and volunteer with, but to society as well.
The CSI Academy is having a profound effect in transforming minds and renewing lives. Since its inception in 2019, the recidivism rate for the program has been 5%, compared to the state rate of almost 48%.
So your dashboard is going to look a little bit different than mine.
With the addition of Future Fit and projected development of welding, carpentry, and food service classes, CSI graduates are being equipped to control their destiny and possibly change the world.
Well, the purpose of the Future Fit program is to put students into the workforce. We teach them skills that employers are looking for in potential employees. We're here 4 hours a day, 3 days a week for roughly 8 weeks. The data and the information that they receive out of this, it truly is off the charts. Failure is not an option.
I was down a really, really dark road, and this program intervened at the most perfect time.
Graduates, move your task.
I want to share with you just briefly a text I got yesterday from one of our graduates. It says, Sheriff Higgins, this is Trey Franks. I was in the CSI program in Pulaski County and blessed enough to work for maintenance. And while there, just wanted to let you know, sir, that because of your class, I'm still dancing. It's a video with her. I've gotten a chance to be a father, a son, and a husband, and I never thought that was possible. I have another child on the way, and thanks to the seed that was planted while I was in CSI, our program is CSI Reentry. I know that my child will have his father present, but I finally get a chance to break the cycle of addiction that has plagued my family for so long. Thanks to CSI, I now have an amazing job at Shorter College, and I get the honor of being a productive citizen and even get the chance to give back. And I just wanted to let you know and say thank you. I received that yesterday. So I just want to let you know that this works. And I have one of our students and a person that works with us. I don't know if you want to talk now or...
Bring him on, please.
I can now?
Come on and talk.
Okay, so my name is Rajon again. I am a proud graduate of the CSI Reentry program. I entered reentry back in October of 2022. I graduated January of 2023. In that whole process, I think the thing that made my mind and heart turn around was the genuine volunteers, the staff members of the reentry program, and the genuine heart of the sheriff. Outside of that, the second part was the career readiness part of the Future Fit program that you've seen. My predecessor, the instructor Shane, he taught me in the Future Fit program, and it motivated me so much. It lit a fire in me that I could not put out. So after I graduated, I kept coming back. Well, for I think from October of 23 up until February 24, I had to take the senior route before I got home. But when I got out, I stayed connected with the Sheriff Department, with the CSI Reentry program, and I was actually offered an opportunity to be the instructor, like you've seen on the career readiness part of it. And so I've been there since, I think, June of last year. And so I'm excited about what reentry is doing. I'm excited about what the Sheriff's Office is doing, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
What's your neighborhood?
Right here. I grew up right across the street from Little Rock Central High School.
Good to know. That's one of the ones in this coalition we care about.
Yes, ma'am.
Hearing that good news, because what we don't like is for someone to be released from the state prison, end up sleeping on mama's couch near Central High,
right,
or anywhere in our area of concern,
yes,
and be told, well, you need to meet with your parole officer tomorrow, and then you need to come in cash for that first monthly fee.
yes.
And very sadly, over the years that we've been trying to help resolve these things in a positive way, they go out and burgle the neighbor to come up with the money to pay the parole officer. And we're trying to put a stop to that system.
Well, hopefully I, along with the sheriff and the reentry program, will be able to help send some renewed individuals back into the community. That's my hope. That motivates me every day to show up to work every day. And there are some men and women that are in that facility right now that are just like me, ready to do something different, ready to make a change in their life, and hopefully we can help do that.
How many graduates? How many years, Sheriff?
So we, since 2020, tracking, initially when we started, we had the Exodus Project come in and teach classes. They struggled with with the classes in that what we do, what I decided to do, not everybody's going to go home. Our program is for anybody who wants to go. Regardless, a lot of them are waiting to go to trial. So some are facing federal sentences, some are facing state sentences, some people will bond out. They were accustomed, that's the program I volunteered with, they were accustomed to working with people in community corrections, so they knew when they were going to be released. So they had start class at 15 and then 5 get bonded out, and so we do. So our record, our data from 2020, we've had close to, well, as of now, just my data is a few months old, we've had about 600 graduates of our program, and we've touched about 4,000 lives. So a person gets in the program, gets bonded out, and gets sentenced, they may not get a chance to finish the program. Or we may put them out of the program because they're not following the rules or they're not doing their homework. Because this is a 12-week program, 4 hours a day. They have homework, they have classwork that they have to do. And we have around 30 volunteers that come in and help us teach classes. So we've touched a lot of lives out. I currently have about 4, maybe 5 individuals that have gone through our program that actually works for me in the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office. John works with us. I think 3 other maintenance people that work with us, maybe 4. I think we just hired 4 another person, so we got 4 working there. Our program is designed to help people, and I think one thing that is really important is to understand when I talk about the county jail is the way to do this. Is because I told you we're a 1,210 bed facility. We average 1,330. But last year we processed 14,000 people through our facility. And in the last few years it's gone all the way up to 16,000 people have been processed in and out of that county jail. And our goal is to help people. We have people who are coming in. We just had a graduation yesterday. And I had a gentleman that was 60 years old graduating. We have people coming through. This reason, my emphasis is people want help. And the thing is, it's not just giving them the help in the facility. It's also connecting them with resources outside of the facility. And that's what's really important with us. Our program costs about $375 a person. When you sponsor, you can $60 for the curriculum, supplies about $88. We give them a success bag. When they leave, there's a cell phone in there, there's a charger in there, there's other supplies, there's Narcan in there, there's other things. And then we give them bus pass when they exit the facility, and then about $6 for hygiene products that we give them as well. But we connect with transitional facilities outside of the jail, and it's only certain places that we work with that we trust to send our students to. You've got to get people. We can say all day long. The example you give is somebody moves in the neighborhood, they get out of prison, and they have fines and they have all these things they have to pay. And we tell them to go out there and get a job. Who's hiring them? And we have to learn, we as a community, we have to give people chances. We're building our students up for success. We're telling them where the resources are, where they can get help at, and tell them to stay connected. And those who are staying connected are successful. So we have a 6% recidivism rate. I'll tell you, it's higher with our women. It's around 8% with our women. It's about 4% with our men. It's successful. Our folks are not going back to prison. And the key thing is we have to help people. Meet them where they're at. Provide resources. My job as Pulaski County Sheriff is to prevent crime. My jurisdiction is the entire Pulaski County. My jurisdiction is the city of Little Rock. In the sheriff's office, we provide services to the city of Little Rock. When there's evictions, when someone has a child that needs to be picked up for mental health issues, we're the ones picking them up. If it's an adult with issues, we're the ones picking it. If there's a lockout, we're the ones doing that. If someone's charged with an offense, a felony, once that goes to circuit court and accepted by circuit courts, that person's our responsibility. If they don't show up at court, we're the ones going to get them. And I want you to understand our area of responsibility is the entire county. And so we're concerned about crime in our entire county. And the best way to address crime is prevention. We'll be out there, yes, we write tickets, yes, we make arrests, but it's about prevention. If someone's dealing with addiction, and that's the reason they break into your car, if they go to jail and come back out and those dealing with the addiction, they're going to do the same thing and we can do something else. And so I believe that at county level, because again, 70-80% of people booked in the county jail are not going to prison. They're coming home. And so we believe in addressing the underlying issues dealing with why the offense was made. So it's dealing with addiction, dealing with mental health issues, dealing with trauma. In our classes, we deal with post-traumatic stress. We work with UAMS. They're bringing in people to come in and help with post-traumatic stress. Also, we deal with something that was new to me recently, is traumatic brain injury. Because a person can appear to have some mental health issues, and it's not mental health, it's actually a brain injury. And statistics show, stats show that over 75% of women incarcerated suffer from traumatic brain injury. And so we're working with...
Whoa, say that again slowly.
Around 75% to 80% of women incarcerated have suffered from traumatic brain injury.
And how do they get that?
It could
They
be,
ain't playing quarterback.
no, but it could be assault, the domestic battery. It could be a car accident. It could be a fall. A lot of it is coming from abuse. And so it's imperative that I, as a sheriff, I am responsible for the individuals in our facility. Make sure they get their insulin, their heart medicine, all that stuff. Plus, if they have an addiction, they want the MAC program to assist with that. We provide that. And also, we're looking at this traumatic brain injury. Just met with a mom this week about someone in jail dealing with that.
How does that compare to the stats on men?
So they're doing a study on the men, and they're saying that that's around maybe 45%. And you look at football, things like that, what's impacting them. I was at a traumatic brain injury conference last week, and the researchers were talking about that. And one thing they're trying to do is get more data on the men in prisons and getting access to not only county jails but to prisons. And it's a questionnaire you go through, and then once you identify them, you're also giving them resources they can have to assist them. And then those who it's raising the awareness of this, not only with the staff of detention facilities, but also the medical teams there. Yes.
My guess is that your male prison population is going to be a little bit taller, a little bit stronger, whether they're aggressive or not, than the average, which would suggest they get picked in these high schools if they stay there and not drop out, or before they drop out, with aggressive contact sports like football, where in typical Arkansas fashion, we know there's expensive equipment to protect heads and shoulders and spines, and we see news headlines about how very few places have this, or how someone has a fund drive to put it in place. But my guess is, would you agree that's true? There's a lot more jail inmates who never had protective gear on when they were supposed to be aggressive on the field.
Well, I think that, even if you look, and I agree with you, if you look at the NFL, I mean, there's been lawsuits for years about injuries from football, and now they're just starting to provide additional equipment, headgear, but with extra padding, give an option for the players. So if we've all been playing, I played football, if we've all played these sports with the equipment we had then, there's a chance we may have suffered traumatic brain injury. Now, just because you've been hit doesn't mean you have a brain injury, but it also car accidents, falls, and things like that. So I think it's important that we try to reach these individuals that are passing through our facility and identify what issues, medical issues, or mental health issues they're dealing with, and then how can we provide those services. And then we push not only in the facility but outside. Our goal with our program is 3 phases. Phase 1 is the 12-week academy, CSI Academy, where we're working on the individual, dealing with the trauma, dealing with financial literacy, writing. We encourage everyone, if they don't have a GED, we push in a GED class, try to get your GED at least. So we're working on that individual themselves. And then the second phase is the work readiness, not just telling you to get a job, but how to keep a job. And then some of the training that we do. And John, we're moving from future fit classes to remember the other classification?
I believe it's,
Which on the spot?
yeah, career readiness. It's kind of like the career readiness training with certified production technician, and also welding. So hopefully we get that off and rolling here next month or so.
We operate through grants. Of course, county funds and foundation. When I first decided to do this, I had some people set up a nonprofit, Pulaski County Sheriff Prevention and Reentry Foundation. And the money we raised to that, we were able to start our reentry program, buy all the curriculum and do everything for that. We got the county to give me 2 positions in our reentry program, to have 2 paid positions for the county. And then we have gotten over $3 million in grants for this program since about 2020. We just got notified of another grant through the state. We've got 2 grants through the state. The last grant helped pay for the Future Fit program, and the second grant we're advancing. We're hiring. Rajan is going to teach the classes, the mechanical class, which is similar to Future Fit, except it's more advanced, and you have a certificate that's recognized nationwide. And then the welding. John's gone to training to teach welding, and so the equipment's going to that we purchase will allow us to teach welding. And there's a virtual welding equipment and then the actual welding equipment. So those things are coming in to teach. We've gone to the Port Authority, talked to the business there about the need for workers, and so we're trying to match the training with the need out there, so that our individuals who graduate from our program can go out and get a job.
Did you say there were 3 goals, and I think we hadn't got the third
So
one?
the third goal is the working. Is going out and going to work, providing the job services for them. So we want to provide jobs and
So you don't just say, here's a good resume, here's an interview, y'all go have good luck.
Exactly.
What do you do next? Clear that up. Tell us.
So it is, the third phase of this is actually assisting them in getting jobs. Even if it means, part of our goal is to actually, if they're still in our facility, to transport them to work, so they can go to work somewhere. Also, that they may be able to go to work for the county while they're in the facility. I checked the county attorney's office, said, can I hire someone who's in our facility to work part-time for us? And the answer is yes, as long as I pay them at least minimum wage. So we're not funding for that right now, but we're looking at that's part of it. And the reason for that is, if I trust Rajan to work for me, then there's a greater chance you'll trust him if you offer him a better job and he goes work. Now, don't offer him a better job, because I want him to stay with me because he's doing an awesome job for me. I just need to be able to pay him more and more for the work he's doing, because he has a significant impact on our students.
So you're writing job recommendations.
Yes, exactly. And our goal is that it's like, jails have trustees, people who work in a jail doing laundry and all those things. Our goal is to get to the point where those are our graduates, and that it's part of their resume, that they're working here. And this is, because it's not just, I didn't want to sleep on a bunk, I'll go to work. No, you had to go through 12 weeks of academy, you had to graduate that, you had to go through the work readiness program to have a job here. The people I've hired that works in our maintenance department, while they were trustees, they worked with maintenance, and I told them that it's your performance will determine whether or not you will get a job. And so while they were in here working as trustee, doing that job, working with those folks, and then when they're released, I said, give me some time, let's see how things are going when you're released. They're released, they come back, apply for the job, they have to go through the interview process. If the maintenance supervisors, if they want to hire the person, then I will hire them. And so far we've hired, let's say, 4 folks that's working for us now. And so we want to expand that. We also work with Airmark, which is our food provider. They have a into-work program where they get a certification, learning to work in a kitchen and doing warehouse work, those kind of things. So they provide that. We had a graduation last week on that. So they're partnering with us, and they get a certification that's recognized nationwide. Also, Airmark assists them in getting jobs. So we're not where we want to be, but we're proud of where we're going. And I think when you look at the county jail, and I think if you talk to any law enforcement folks around Pulaski County, they'll tell you, they'll complain that we don't have enough jail space. That we are releasing people with felony records, giving them a citation instead of booking them into the facility because we don't have enough bed space. We do need to expand more bed space in the facility, but we also need to expand more reentry programs. Because right now I've got probably 89 men in the program right now in those barracks, and around 50 women, maybe 56 women in the program in their barrack. My limitation on the men is I don't have enough space, and I don't have enough classroom space. The jail was not built for a reentry program to do all the classes.
So to recap, if I got this correctly, you're currently holding 1,330 in population.
That's our average rates.
And of those who seek to better themselves and take up your offer of this 12-week program and all that involves, is and that have been accepted into it and are currently going through it, in comparison to the 1,330 is 90 men and 60 women.
Approximately. Well, 90 women and maybe 56 women, something like that.
90 men, about 90 men, 50 women, something like that.
And we're jail, so it's fluid.
But that's the comparison numbers that we would look at.
And I'll tell you that we have we've set up in the jail tier system. So upper tier unit is our reentry unit, our men and women unit. Upper tier unit is our H unit, which some may have seen on the Netflix thing where we did the unlock. That is the upper tier unit. That unit is still operating unlocked. It is a safe, one of the safest units in the facility. We're doing classes, reentry, the team is doing classes in that unit. We have a women's unit that we're working on to add more services. We're doing classes in there now. And so that those units are outside of our reentry. The goal is to transform the whole facility, that we're able to bring classes and programming into more areas of the facility. The key thing is people have to want the help. They have to want to be in the program, and so you create the desire. We started with the women in 2019 with just maybe 20 women. When we started, the reason I started with the women is when I volunteered, I found out from the ladies there's not enough programs for women. So we started with the women. And we created the community because we knew that's what they needed. The men and women need to be together because we had students that were only one in a pod trying to do homework, trying to focus, and other people thinking about other things that distract you. So you want to create community. So we started with the women, and yeah, which way I'm going with that. But with the men in there, we started women first, and then the men started saying, "Hey, Sheriff, when are you going to do something for us?" So that stirred an interest, and then we started with the men, and so now we're creating that interest within the facility. We have more and more people coming in, wanting to be in the program, and that's what you want. You want to create hope that you can do something different. If someone calls you a felon and a thug all your life, or you're struggling and no one will hire you because of your felony record, then you get caught up, stuck in the system, and you lose hope that anybody cares about you and will help you. Once we create the hope that something can be different, then you start reaching out. I'll tell you, when I started the program, I let the prosecutors know, I let the judges know, and I just told them I'm starting a reentry program with the hope eventually have a diversion program. And that's all. I didn't meet with them again. But over time, the judges and the prosecutors and the public defenders started seeing our students in court and seeing something, public defenders saying there's something different with my client. And they started seeing that. And now we have the prosecutor's office. With the last graduation, I think we had a couple of judges there. And so we have judges coming. We have the drug court works closely with us. And so the prosecutor's office, the public defender's office, they are aware of our program. Even the federal judges, they're not sending one to our program, but they are aware of our program.
What models have you followed or relied on nationally or internationally, and what of those models would you still like to implement that you haven't been able to?
So in Massachusetts, there are a couple of sheriff's offices there that have a robust reentry program. They don't do the classes like we do, but they have a reentry when you look at a state, the training, welding, those kind of things. But they get funding from the state. They also, most of those programs, they also will house someone for up to 3 years once after their sentence. And so they have a more robust program, they have more classrooms, but their funding is great. I think when you look at the prison situation, you look at it, I'm going to spend $1 billion on the prison. I would tell anyone, spend the money, Pulaski County. Let us have the money at this level. Let's increase our capacity at this level. Because you want to stop the influx of people going to prison. And if we know most people are not going to prison when they commit an offense, then why not redirect them, give them the resources? Then you will cut the flow to prison. And you reduce the number of victims you have in the community. Because if someone's doing...
Well, now, hold up just one little minute. The rhetoric in these proposals for this $1 billion new state prison is that the worst and most dangerous felons aren't being locked up and kept locked up. My guess is that is not a phrase that would apply to your reentry program, folks.
No.
If only because, correct me if I'm wrong, someone who's earned the title of most dangerous and worst repeaters aren't going to say, I want to turn my life around, I want to enter your reentry program.
Well, you have to define most dangerous. Because
people who hurt people. There's two kinds of crimes.
Okay.
Property crimes and people crimes.
Okay.
And I'm a lot more tough on the people crimes than I am the property crimes.
I understand it. But what I would challenge you with this is someone could commit an offense against a person's crime 15 years ago. Are they still the most dangerous? Did that offense, and I'll tell you, in the county jail, those who are charged with murder, the most offensive crimes, are the most compliant in the jail.
Yeah, because they killed the one that they headed for.
Well,
I've been in this a while, so I know that.
Well, I've been in this a while too, deep into this. And I'll tell you that sometimes the homicides, some of these things are a moment of passion. It's not that and you have evil people in the world that will hurt everybody and their mama. We understand that. But there's some people who, because of emotions, because of drugs, because of other issues, commit an offense, a serious offense. But that is not a true reflection of the person. So when you look at...
Always true. So but we're talking about the repeat hurters.
So when you look at our program, we look at people who are in the facility. We look at previous crimes. If someone is charged with murder, it's kind of highly unlikely they'll come into our program. But when a person's charged with murder, we also have to understand if there's 5 people in a car and one person shoots someone, law enforcement may charge all 5. And you may plead guilty to a homicide and you did not kill anyone. And so we take that into consideration as well to look at what they actually did. So you're going to always have to have prisons. But the question that we have to ask ourselves, do we help people with the low level offenses? Do we help someone who wants help, or do we allow it to continue? If I'm dealing with addiction or other issues, do I want them to continue and have more and more serious crime? Sometimes it's the environment you're in. The reality of it is, if I live in a gang neighborhood, and the city and the resources are not coming to improve my neighborhood, I'm not just talking about arresting everybody. I'm talking about resources. If we don't do that, the young 12-year-old who decides to carry a gun to protect themselves, are they a vicious criminal? And if they use that gun to protect themselves, are they a vicious criminal, or are they someone in the environment that they were born in and trying to survive? I don't have the answer for that, but that's a possibility.
And we're working on that with some others who've been in our meetings and recently, just 30 seconds on the GBI program from Pine Bluff that we're bringing up here, and you were supportive of that one. And Angela Tolbert with the Dispute Resolution Centers has a companion interest. She's basically looking at not simply the first time they're arrested and they divert, which is the GBI model,
Yeah.
let's say. But finding those on the truancy list and the, as you say, low-level offense list, and devoting those intense and sustained resources to them are the phrases that she uses.
Yeah.
And keep it up for 5 years. If you start with a high school freshman, you keep it up year after year after year until they complete,
Right.
not drop out, and you deal with, as has been said elsewhere, the whole family,
Exactly.
the neighborhood.
Right.
What else is going on? Is there an older brother coming out of prison?
Right.
Is there a 5-year-old kid that's got issues, and so forth and so on? And so this fits in very much with
Right.
that. But I'm trying to get at, once again, do we have a percentage of vicious repeat offenders that needs that many more, 3,000 more beds? What do you think is the breakdown of the offender population in this state?
I don't know if you need 3,000 more beds. This is what I'll tell you. Those beds will be filled up. Because 2 years ago, legislation passed a law on truth in sentencing. Not defining it, but it increased the years maximum, or the years that you have to do, similar to federal prison. That in itself is going to fill the prisons up. And it's also eventually going to back up our court systems. Because most cases don't go to trial. Most people go, if I'm looking at a robbery charge, a battery charge, and even with the charge, you have to look at really what happened. But you still committed a crime. Most likely, I'm going to plea out to something less.
It's 98% on the plea deals, is it not?
It depends on the charge. But what's going to happen is that.
But the dockets of Pulaski County.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
In the dockets of Pulaski County, 98% are pleas, and very few are trials.
Right, exactly. So if I'm looking at 80 years in prison going to trial, or you're offering me 60 years in prison, and I'm going to do 60, or I'm going to do 55, what's the point? I'll go to trial. Maybe I'll get less. Maybe something else will happen. So I'll just wait and go to trial. So there's a chance that that's going to back up in the system. We've had people in the county jail 3 years waiting to go to trial currently. So, those things happen. And so I think there's going to be a backup there. It's going to be filled. I think we have to have in what you talked about, is a holistic approach to dealing with crime. We're looking at, when you talk about engaging kids in high school and middle school, the research saying that we need to start engaging kids in elementary school.
Yes.
And so it's elementary on up. And so that influx. And then looking at our communities. What resources are we providing to the community? It's not just about, say, where can I go to work? Is there a bus route for me to go to work? Is there a close business around that I can go to work at? And so all those things, there's a grocery store nearby. And you know about the food deserts around.
That's a big issue.
And a lot of kids go to work at the grocery store. Yes, sir.
Is there a chance that an Arkansas legislature committee would invite you to make a presentation to them? And the inmates are basically going to have to go flat. So there won't be a PO checking on them because they've used up their time. They're not going to go out to probation. They're just going to go out the gate. Yeah. And so there's more likely to be a problem. So is there a chance the legislature might ask you to make a presentation? Could you project savings using your approach that they could see rather than spending $35,000 a year on keeping an inmate in prison?
I think we could, with some assistance, we could come up with some data to show that. We track the data on the reoffense, but you can look at crime going down in the homicides, you're doing homicides and doing those things, but whether property crimes are sometimes they're going down in inflows. I don't like the idea of, as an agency, as a law enforcement, say, hey, look at us, crime is down because you can have an influx. But I think you have a reduction happening. Would they? We've had people come out. I've talked to legislators about what we're doing. The governor's husband has come to our program to review what we're doing, what the state is doing with what they've started with directing people from the prisons to community corrections. and working with Pulaski Tech and doing program, that it's a replication of our program. But I think that we need to have more of it throughout the state. And, I think we have to understand, how do you stop crime? It's working with the individuals. And if we work on that, I think we'll have a significant impact. We know that. I can tell you, Rajan's impact he has on our agency, on our students, is significant. And that's the ripple effect. It's about hope and opportunity. If I think nobody's going to give me a chance, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on anything, Rajan, you can.
So
just I'm not the one.
From a personal standpoint, I believe if I didn't have an opportunity to go to the CSI reentry program and learn some skills about what was really going on with me personally and how I can learn to be a better citizen in my community, I would not be standing here next to the sheriff's office. Because, truth be told, I've been in that back door just as many times I've been through the front door. And I never had the opportunity like I got back in 2022 going through CSI reentry. And if I didn't have that opportunity, I wouldn't be able to stand here talking. I wouldn't be right here. So I just want to say that personally, I'm grateful for that program being there, given the opportunity to reconstruct my life. Because I didn't have a life prior to this. I grew up in this neighborhood. I grew up right across the street from the Little Rock Central High School. I was amongst them drugs. I was amongst them gangs. And if they didn't have that program. They didn't have anything remotely close to that. The only thing, if they had anything, was just say no to drugs or something like that. That was it. They didn't have people coming to actually open their heart and their mind to understand what was really going on with you. And I didn't receive that until I went through that CSI reentry program.
You've been many years in the world of law enforcement and justice, and I've been in the working all alongside, watching it. And they've done flat time rules before in decades in the past. My first encounter was 68, so I've been watching a while. And what nobody has persuaded the legislators is they're going to get a whole bunch of correctional officers killed with a shiv in the shower. Because what on earth is the lure to hold up that bad-tempered or malicious or just bad day inmate who's serving the kind of years and flattening it out? Parole has always been a way to keep control of prison populations and to keep correctional officers safe. Yeah. And they have abandoned that once again. And so we're going through this cycle. You can just graph it. Yeah. And that's another thing that potentially could make your program look more attractive.
Yeah. I agree. They're going to have programming, and they're going to have the focus is the individual. And the Department of Corrections is going to have to focus on the individual and provide some services to those individuals. So,
we've reached our hour limit. Thank you. Final question.
Have other counties been interested in starting some similar programs or not?
So Roanoke County has a PAC program, which is a peer specialist dealing with the individuals. It's a very small program. It is not robust like ours. Washington County is starting a program where they're having play peers come in and talk to the detainees. I don't know if they're creating communities like we're doing, and I tell you that I hope they would, because what works, it's you can't just have peers come in and that's it. You've got to create the community, because even in our units, we have mentors who are other detainees in the unit. They are teaching classes, they're engaging, and so you have to have a holistic approach to that. I hope they'll get there. My desire is that every county jail will move this direction, where we have to change the dynamics of I'm a sheriff, and by golly, I'm fighting crime. Well, I'm fighting crime. And the hardest thing to do in fighting crime is bring programming into a facility and have that accepted as being part of this, creating a safer community. That's what it's about. It's a safer community. We want to reduce crime. We want to reduce the perception of crime. organizations in the community doing things. We need to have, because we can't do it all, but we can have a significant impact when we all work together. So the programs you were mentioning, all those things are important, and we have to work together and make those connections to make sure we have those resources out there for our individuals.
And I can also imagine for very small towns, the rural counties, where you don't have the infrastructure external to that, that could come in and assist, like we have here, obviously, or Washington County.
Right.
But I can see the issue of that being a handicap for certainly in a small county, rural.
I'd say a small county can do it if the community comes around it.
Right.
Because it's the volunteers that make it happen. Truly, the volunteers make it happen. That's what we have great staff, but also having those volunteers come in. And that's one thing a small sheriff's department can do, a small jail, is work with the community to bring some volunteers in, get some people. Don't force things on the folks, on the detainees. Offer a program and open it to them, let them work with it. Like I said, we started with a small number of ladies, and we've had a significant impact. So I think they can do it. And I'm willing to talk to anybody who's willing to try.
And they call what number when they want to invite you?
Well, let me tell you. Let me get my.
Bring your card out and
I'm gonna bring my
cite the
card out
number.
because I normally throw out my personal number, but even I write down my personal number. But if you want to call the office, you can call it 501-340-6930. That's 340-6930. Or if you want to send me a text or call me on my cell phone, it's 501-539-3860. 539-3860.
You could pass the card around and we could take pictures of it.
Oh, I have cards for you guys. I do have.
Okay.
I was referencing on the people online.
Yes, for our absent friends.
Right.
All right, thank you so very much.
You are welcome.
We're very
Thank
pleased
you.
to hear from you. It is a topic of continuing interest because one of our 5 points is community police safety programs. And we always need more and better of those.
And if you're interested, come back and talk about our junior deputy program, our youth program. We'd love to come and bring Sergeant Willie Davis with me to talk about that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And for the next hour, we're going to look at the topic of the moment, which is elections and filings. We're in the middle of a filing period for the March 3rd, 2026 primary. We have with us today Amanda Pickens, who is the coordinator for elections with the Pulaski County Election Commission. And one of the first things we want to ask her for is an announcement about changing your email address to a .gov.
Yes.
And reminding people to subscribe to your newsletters for all of the important information. I'm particularly interested because we're going to put on a candidate forum on Saturday, February 14th. So the sooner I can get those lists of who filed with their contact information, the sooner I can invite them in the contested races, in the local races, to that event at that time. So we had a couple of folks come in. Would you introduce yourself, Lanita?
Hi, I'm Nanita Danielle Claiborne, and I am the Petaway president, and I'm always happy to be here with more information. And this is my child.
Welcome. We're glad you came.
I'm Gloria.
So, Ms. Dickens, the floor is yours.
All right. So, as you mentioned, we are having the March primary, March 3rd, the preferential primary on March 3rd, 2026. Early voting for that will begin on February 17th, which is a Tuesday. That Monday was the normal start date, but that is the President's Day, so it's a holiday. So it's 2 weeks of early voting, including both Saturdays. I have a little information sheet here I can pass around. Has the dates for early voting. The last day you can register to vote if you're not already registered, which I hope everybody is.
And we have registration forms here. Take some home for absent friends.
That's
Make
right.
sure you're registered to vote at your present address. We know people move.
Exactly. So take care of that now. That is one of the things that can kind of hold you up at the polling site. You won't be able to just immediately check in, vote, and leave. You'll have to be pulled out of line, go talk to the election judge, fill out the form there. They'll have to make a phone call to the clerk's office, get your information changed, and then you go step back in line to vote. So if you don't want to do all of that while you're voting, change your address now. Get that updated. That is a key thing. And if you have friends or family who aren't registered now, encourage them to do it now. Because if you wait closer to that deadline, that's when the clerk's office is getting heaps and heaps of applications coming in. Not saying they won't process yours, but it won't be in a timely manner.
But what you can give gifts in the family for both Thanksgiving table and the Christmas table is a voter registration.
There you go. Yes.
How about combining
Right.
your promotions with holidays?
There you go. There you go. When you're mailing out your Christmas cards, throw in some applications, right? And the clerk's office has those applications on their website. We have them on our website. So if you don't pick one up today, you can print one off, but you still have to physically mail it in. They do not accept those emailed, from my understanding.
We can't drop it by?
You can. You can mail it in.
If we can find a parking place down
Exactly.
at
Downtown
Markham
Little
and Broadway.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
I've heard that there are challenges for women whose names have changed, last names have changed for one reason or another. So how does one go about checking to see what their status, what their name is, and then
Right. So on our website, we have a link to what's called Voter View. That's the Secretary of State's statewide database, if you will. So everybody around the state can look up their registration on their website and check its current status. So you can see what name you're listed under, what address you're currently listed at. If you need to update it, you can get the form and send it into your county clerk's office. So if you do show up on election day or during early voting to change your name, I mean, it's not going to be a big deal. It's the same process as having to update your address. But if you want to avoid that, go ahead and do it now.
If somebody issues an executive order between now and election day, are y'all going to pay attention?
So, like, what type of executive order?
It comes up with all kinds.
I know. Currently, we are following the current statutes that are in place now, the state and federal law. So, regardless of any executive order that may have been issued, we are following what the current statutes are. So, we're still using the same voting machines we used in prior elections, using the same processes we have been using, poll books, that type of thing.
So there's still going to be printed ballots at the bottom of that box if anybody wants to count again.
Yes. So, our board can do an audit after an election and count ballots. The State Board of Election Commissioners picks at least 15 counties every primary in general and comes in and does an audit on them as well. So, and they'll pick random polling places, random races, and sit there and hand count the ballots and make sure that the machine tally goes correctly. So I'm pretty sure Pulaski will be due for one next year. We lucked out the last general and didn't get picked.
How many ballot boxes are they going to count?
They pick normally about 15 to 20 polling places. So it's a pretty good number.
Out of what, we have 100 precincts?
We have 137 precincts,
More than I think.
only 95 polling locations on election day. So some of those precincts vote at the same
doubled
place.
up.
Yeah.
Don't make me count. I hate write-in votes.
Oh, we don't do write-ins anymore.
Don't do write-ins
They
anymore.
passed legislation, there's no more write-ins. You won't ever see a write-in box on the ballot anymore. People actually have to file
For office.
For office and have their name printed on the ballot now. So no more write-ins.
What about all the obstacles to absentee ballots or getting my absentee ballot for you at home or in a nursing home?
So, yes.
How does that work now?
So to get an absentee ballot, you have to call the clerk's office and request an absentee ballot application. You can also print those off the website.
Oh, really?
Yes. We have them on our website, votepulaskiar.gov. You can print that off. I'm not saying that the form may or may not be a little complicated. We don't get to design the form, so anyway, you do.
The legislature muddies that one up. Yes, we understand.
So you have to make sure you fill that form out correctly. Pick why you're needing an absentee ballot, what election you want to vote absentee in. Make sure all the information is on there correctly. When the county clerk gets that, they will check that information, and if there's an issue with your application, they will reach out and let you know. But if everything checks out and everything's good, they will enter you in as an absentee voter, and they will mail you a ballot for the election you requested the ballot for. So if you want one for the March primary, applications open up, I believe, in January. You can go ahead and call and request it at that time.
So they'll mail it out to
Right.
the applicants.
That's correct.
And they have how much? Tell us again the timing. It opens and it closes when?
So I don't have the exact date that you can request one, since our office doesn't actually do that. We do have to deliver the ballots by January 15th to the clerk's office, so you can start requesting it the first of the year if you need one. And the cutoff for that is the week before Election Day if you're requesting it by mail.
I'm sorry. I think I've dropped a stitch. If I am voting absentee for whatever purpose, I need to mail it in, not March the 3rd, but a week before March the 3rd?
So the last day they can get a request for an absentee ballot is that 7 days prior.
That's a joke in today's mail.
I know. You don't want to wait that long, but that is the actual deadline.
Is there a deadline to mail it in to them?
Yes. It has to be back by Election Day.
Received Election Day.
On Election Day, yes, by 7:30.
Right.
Received, yes. The only exception for that is there's a special group of voters. There's an acronym for everything in government, right? It's a UACAVA. It's Uniform and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act. So,
which naturally follows a different path.
Right. So those folks who are serving an active duty or who are citizens but are maybe living abroad or maybe they're on vacation, they can have 10 days to get their ballot back. So March 3rd is for everybody else. If you are classified as a UACAVA voter, you have until the 10 days after the election for your ballot to be returned. So once the county clerk receives those ballots, then the election commission office will go and get those ballots and actually canvass them and then count the ones that qualify. So it's a pretty thorough process.
And that's why everything is, well, with 98% of the vote in, we project the winner to be so-and-so, because there's this trickle coming in, which will not, I'm assuming, ever affect the outcome of an election.
Right. Well, we don't see we can't actually open those ballots until Election Day and read them in. But yes, they do start coming in well prior to Election Day. But we don't know what the results are. So 8:30 a.m. on Election Day is the earliest we can actually open that envelope with the ballots in.
Are you able to get proper staffing and volunteer poll workers?
That, so far, has not been an issue. We have a good abundance of workers who stay on election after election. They are committed. They love what they do. We have a bunch of new ones that are trickling in. Closer we get to an election, the more applications we get for folks wanting to be poll workers. So We accept applications year-round. We have one on our website. It's easy to do. You just fill it in, hit send, and boom, we get it. You don't have to print anything out. You don't have to come down to our office. It's an online thing. It's very easy. We'll put you on our list and fill you in wherever we have openings.
What's the obligation for someone who's going to be a poll worker?
So it depends on your availability. So if you are free anytime, we can pop you into an early voting location. Like I said, that's
How many hours is that to do,
so
to work?
It's 8 to 6 for a primary and general election through the week. On Saturday, it's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So a lot of our early vote sites, we can schedule you know, if you can only work, say, Monday and Wednesdays, we can work with that. What we don't really like to do is split shifts during the day, and try to keep up with all these
once you're there,
locations.
you're there till it's
right,
done.
Right, because it's a lot harder to keep up with, say, 800 people working on election day, and so can only work 8 to noon, and this one can only work 1 to 3. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's a little hard to keep up with. So if you commit to election day, we want you there when we get there at 6:30 a.m. The polls close at 7:30. It might take you a good 30, 45 minutes to get things closed and packaged up. So you're looking at, 14 hours.
Easily, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot when you're older.
Yes, it is quite a bit. And then, of course, our staff is there until way later, waiting for all the returns to come in, getting that stuff pushed out to the media and to the public. So,
How is the rate of troublemaking and harassment at the polls and interference with folks voting compared to 5 years ago?
So we really, in Pulaski County, we haven't noticed a huge increase in that. I mean, you may have little isolated incidences here and there, but it's nothing that is alarming or
nobody's injured.
Right. Nobody's come in and actually physically accosted any poll workers. There may be some verbal disagreements. People are very passionate about elections. So, they may get a little upset about certain things and want to just let that out, and that does happen from time to time, but not on a frequent basis, which is what we're happy about.
Have you, as of today, set all of the polling addresses for the March election?
So internally, yes, we have all those set. Our commission has not yet voted on those for the primary. So that's coming up in December. They'll vote on what the polling locations will be, and then we'll put that out there. But yes, that's what the staff does year-round. Polling locations drop out, or their building gets sold to someone else and they don't want to be a poll. Things like that happen. So
we're anxious that the locations be publicized well in advance, because that's one of the things that really can trip people up. Yes, they've got their registration in their hand. Yes, they've studied the ballots, and they go tripping off to where they've always voted in. It's not a polling location.
Correct. And that's something else that we encourage you all to check before you head out to the polls, is go to our website, click on the voter view link, and see where your polling location is. And hopefully, the very few changes we have made, the clerk's office will send you a new voter registration card with that new location on it. Now, again, I'm not saying anything bad about the mail system, but that could be an issue. So
we'll say bad things about the mail. Yeah, the last time somebody moved to my polling place and sent me a new card, it was a real bad problem. Just sum it up like that without putting cuss words in there. And actually, there's a third thing that you should do when you're looking at voter view once you have established the ballot, and that is looking at the sample ballot for you.
Yes.
So that's three things that you do, and we'll be pounding on that one and sending out examples. But you cannot too much emphasize the value of looking at that sample ballot, printing it off, marking it, so that when you get to the actual polling place, all you have to do is sort of look in your purse and make sure that you are marking the folks that you want to mark and the issues you want to mark. And that also is a very great benefit to the process because you're in and out very fast. And you're not saying, no, wait a minute, who was it in this race? And what is it they're talking about in Amendment 3?
Right.
And those are getting more complex than before, so homework on them is really something we're going to try and help with, giving out information.
Yes, and there is a time limit for you to be in the voting booth. It's 10 minutes now.
Oh, really?
They increased it a little bit. It was like 5 minutes, and now they've increased it to 10 minutes. Now, our poll workers are trained not to sit there and time you. But if you're sitting there and you're looking things up on your phone and calling your mom going, who was I supposed to vote for? These are real stories. I'm not just making it up. You know, that's a little bit of an issue.
Cheat sheets. You need to be promoting cheat sheets.
Yes.
Actually, next to the sample ballot thing on your website, that's what you ought to say. Print off the cheat sheet, dummy. You may not want to put dummy on.
Right. Yeah.
But
we'll
that's
try
an
to keep it
actual step that
professional.
you could be prompting them to do in timely manner.
Yes. And we try to put that information out there. Like I said, we do have that on our website. We do have a Facebook page where we put things out and go, hey, please go and check your sample ballot, research it, print it off, bring it in with you at the polling site. And I'm not saying you can wave it around in the polling site, but bring it in and
if it's right there beside you on the table like yours is,
exactly,
that's not going to be invisible to any other person.
Right. So that's very, very.
And they're not actually supposed to take a picture of their ballot when they complete it.
Oh, well,
really?
You can take a picture of your own ballot. You can't take a picture of
You
anybody
can
else's
send it
ballot.
to somebody who's going to give you cash later.
Well, how innovative. Sheriff Marlon Hawkins would be proud. He wrote a whole book on how to steal elections if you know your history.
I didn't read that one, but
Yes.
But yes, there's currently no prohibition in state law against taking a photo of your own ballot. What you do with that photo is out of our control. But you can't walk up to someone else while they're voting and take their picture, especially their ballot.
Which makes sense.
and you can always erase your marks after you take the picture and send it to somebody, and then they'll give you the cash. And
I don't think you can erase anything. This is all ink ballot dots.
Or on the machine, you know.
But at least we've managed with Election Day liquor bans to deal with election whiskey, unless it's the bootlegging out of the trunk, which has occurred in my lifetime. So, where there is a will, there are some folks who are pursuing evading the rules and seeking benefits they're not entitled to. So if you see somebody with a trunk full of liquor and folks standing around, call the cops. It can't possibly be legal. But don't get caught. They might beat you up.
I think we had somebody offering donuts and cookies to people in line.
Now that got to be a bottle of water in line was an issue.
Yeah.
Do we have rules on that today?
Yes. So the statute says that while voters are standing in line, you can't approach them and talk to them. You can't give them anything.
Well, that's no fun.
So no bottles of water, no donuts, no cookies, no campaign literature.
And there's the 100-foot rule.
Yes. Now, even if if the line extends outside the 100-foot rule, the 100-foot is the main entrance that voters use. There's no electioneering within that 100-foot. But if the line extends outside the 100-foot, which it does at a lot of locations for early voting in Pulaski County,
Wow.
if they are in line you still cannot do any electioneering with those folks in line. You can't go up and go, hey, please vote for me.
But they've all set up in the parking lot at a
Right, and
distant
they can
location
holler.
and
Yes.
promote it and have big signs and offer out brochures. If you want to step out in line to take it,
Right.
that
right.
is your business.
But they can't approach you in line and go, here's my brochure, please vote for me.
I get nervous if our line goes to the door in the room we're sitting in.
The downtown location, we usually have a line that goes out the door, down the sidewalk, around the building.
I don't think I've ever had a line of more than 10 people.
Right.
At my spot.
Exactly. So that's the people wanting to vote on that last day. And like you go to your polling site tomorrow, and nobody's going to be there. You know.
Well, the great
Usually.
value in early voting is that you can schedule it around all your obligations.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because, especially with the Saturday part of the voting.
Right.
Refresh our memory on where early voting locations are.
So, for the most part, those have stayed the same. We'll have those listed on our notice of election for the primary. Our downtown location is always open for every election. The site that's right across from City Hall. We have, over the Sioux County Library will be back on board. We were at Dunbar for a little while because the library went under renovations, and we stayed with Dunbar, but now Dunbar's like, we'd rather do election day. So we're moving back to the library. And that's where mainly most of ours are, is different libraries.
I was thinking it was the library list.
Right.
Is there one at
Most
the
of
newly renovated CAL's headquarters property?
No. The only.
That's too close to you, I would think.
Right. So ours is already open, so that, it's a little bit too close. And then we have Sioux County, which is not that far. And then across the river, we have Lehman Library, and then, of course, we have a church in Sherwood. And
you have D. Brown over in John Barrow.
D. Brown and John Barrow.
And mine's the one next to Pulaski.
You mean I could go to Lehman Library for early voting? I guess I could.
You can go to any of the early voting sites. So
no, that's.
If you're over in Jacksonville, you can go to the community center.
Terry,
you know.
But if I go to the downtown one, I have to have a quarter for the parking meter, right?
On H Street.
Yeah, you do have to pay the parking meter. We can't talk them out of not making you do that.
But what about rural residents? Obviously, we're just talking about Little Rock because we are a Little Rock group, and we know that there's going to be some out there in North Little Rock and Jacksonville and Wrightsville. What about Ferndale?
Ferndale, we don't have an early vote site, but we do have the
precinct.
The precinct out there at C.A. Vines
Center
out there. Yes, that is a polling location.
So the rural folks probably are particularly appreciative of early voting because they can work that into their standard flow.
Right.
And the thing that I've realized, especially when early voting came into our lives, was how the original voting precincts tied to your home address. So with folks getting up and commuting to work at some distance, that pattern of being smart, accessible, and close to where it should be has fallen away. And we haven't changed that, but we have mitigated it with early voting.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I'm very glad to see that the process does that.
Right. And we look for early voting sites that are going to be in places where people drive by and will see it. You know, we don't want to open up a place that's hidden away somewhere. We've tried that, and it's like, you know, it doesn't really draw the people in. So, you know, those places that are, you know, along busier routes or libraries that people know about and they drive by anyway. So that's the type of places we look for when we look for opening a new early vote site.
One of the things that I've remembered from many years now is I was part of a phone campaign to get out the vote, and I was speaking to a bunch of folks who were low-income voters, and it was after dark on November, and I called this person. We had some way of knowing that she hadn't voted yet. The folks, advocates who check on that.
Mhm.
And she said, I can't. I work 2 jobs. I'm at the 2nd job now. I will not get back home in all the hours the precinct has run from 7:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night because I am distant, working my 2 jobs. And I've not gotten any chance to find out if early voting, in fact, was the remedy for this woman who would vote if only she could. But I think she's an example that we need to keep in mind.
We do have way more people that take advantage of early voting than actually come out on election day now. I mean, the numbers, it used to be a lot heavier on election day, but early voting has really become very popular, especially in our county. And I'm pretty sure it's that way in other counties as well.
And how is our turnout these days in Pulaski
It's not
County?
it's not what it should be. For a typical general election, roughly 65% of the registered voters come out. I'd love for it to be,
95%.
95 or even the 100% would be awesome. But even those that, there's still more people out there that could be registered that aren't registered. They just don't.
Because that
bother.
remark of the percentage was of the registered
Of the
voters
registered voters,
list.
not the people who are eligible to vote, if they would have just registered.
What kind of numbers have you got on that?
You know what? I don't have a good number on that.
You might ask some of those students at Euler to do you some kind of analysis. Or maybe
Okay.
someone has done it in a
Right.
think tank somewhere.
Right.
But it would be a useful target to pursue
Right.
if we knew it
Right.
was.
But the state as a whole only had just over 51% of the eligible voters vote in the last general election.
We were worst in the nation, just about.
But if we could, if there was a campaign in Pulaski County to get the registered voters in Pulaski County to really turn out, the fact that they've split us up among 3 different congressional districts to make sure we are not represented might be overcome.
That is very true. We just need to pound on register and turn out and
Right.
get everybody else
Since
from now until March
everybody-
3rd.
Everybody who is registered to vote signs twice to make sure they can vote. Could we get the list of people who did not vote in the last election and go call them and say, can we help you this time?
Yeah, that information is kept by the county clerk's office.
So we can get the smart guy to,
Non-voting, but registered.
Right.
so we could get the guy to print it out by street or whatever for us to just go down the street saying, let us help you vote.
And we have an absent friend who probably is already pursuing that. Neil Seeley with the Arkansas Community Organizations typically is quite active in elections and getting out the vote.
You all do voter registration drives like Euler or other public events?
We don't typically do those. The county clerk's office does, since they do the voter registration. We have tagged along with them before to, demonstrate voting equipment or encourage people to sign up to be poll workers. But I do know that they are very active. They get out in the community. They went out to different high schools during high school. I can't remember what it was called, high school registration week or something like that. So. Yeah, they do all that, but those people need to show up at the polls after they register, and that's
Right,
where
but
the
I'm just
issue
thinking
is.
like events, because I hope everybody in here shows up at Chili Bites in the Heights this afternoon, because big event.
And what are the hours for that?
That would be 11 until 4.
Oh,
And where in the Heights?
Kavanaugh Boulevard.
Just come to Kavanaugh and find it.
Yep.
What time?
It starts at 11 this morning.
And it goes till 4
We're
p.m.
now in it, or close to it. Yeah, and tomorrow is holidays in the Heights. All the businesses are open, serving cookies and tea.
Oh, they keep pushing that earlier and earlier. Wow.
And Monday evening is the relighting of the Heights Promenade with its new light structure at about 6:37 p.m. So right after the Heights Board meeting and the membership meeting tomorrow evening. So,
All right.
So it's a full weekend in the Heights.
It is. Yeah, definitely you need to have voter registration blanks up and around. Preferably by the cookies. I would think that would be a good pairing. You can't have a cookie until you take a voter form.
Right.
Or something, whatever. But, yeah, and I repeat, I've got a stack of them. I can get more for the asking. The League of Women Voters, of course, is promoting this heavily, and it's got them in the 100 packs on the question. If you've got something that is coming up for your group and you would benefit by having that, call the League of Women Voters, and if you don't have a number, call me. I can get you that.
I have a granddaughter turning 18 in February. Should I give her one for her birthday?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that'd be a great idea.
Matter of fact, you could fill it out now, and they'll keep up with it and everything. You know, just do it now. It's
Well, the
next time you
final
see
day
it.
is February 2.
Yes.
Oh, so I give it to her early. Yeah.
I was hopeful that she was not past deadline there.
Yeah, but she can get registered now, as long as she'll be 18 on or before March 3rd, she'll be able to vote.
Oh,
But
we
you
can
can
have
look-
early registration.
Yeah.
Very
You
good.
can
Oh,
send it
that's
in
something
now.
to promote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can go to the high schools and say, if you're going to be 18 at this date,
Right.
you can register now. They will keep up with it and mail something to you.
Well, considering the lousy state of the mails, the earlier the better, because these have to be mailed.
Right, and you can also drop them off
accept that as
as ID. Yes,
It's a passport.
Yeah.
Passport card.
it's issued by the United States government, so yeah, it has your photo and name on it. So you should be good. And it's not expired, so yeah.
10 years.
Well, that takes care of all the issues
Yes.
there.
Yes, so you definitely
What
can
other
use
questions
that.
have we got from folks?
Anything you're dying to know about elections, how we do it on this. We don't
What
just show
about
up on
the-
election day, there's a lot of stuff that goes on before then.
Well, what about protecting against hacking and destruction of the voting? We see scare headlines and attempts in other places.
So-
How protected are we?
So, in order to be hacked, you have to be online. So, the voting machines are not online. There is nothing, they don't have the capability of being connected to the internet.
But when I go on your website and I see the vote at midnight on March the 3rd, you're online. Who could
Right.
hack that in and destroy it? Or
Well, so the results that we put out online are a PDF of the report. So, I mean, could someone
you can't
get
fiddle
in
with
there?
a PDF. Okay,
It's
fine.
hard to fiddle with
Well,
a
I
PDF.
can.
You can if you have the right software, but we have the actual real report still in our office, and you know,
Able to
on a
compare with
secure-
any.
right? Because the laptop that we originally read the results into is not online.
Oh, thank you. I know that, techie, unskilled as I am, I know that that's your first line of protection.
Right.
Is you just don't give people a chance at it.
Right, and so there's a secure thumb drive that is a specific thumb drive from the software company. We don't just go buy one at Walmart. It's encrypted. We get the results off the laptop and then take it to a computer that can upload to the internet and produce the results that way. And of course, we double check things to make sure everything is still the same as it was before we upload it, after we upload. When we upload to the state's website, same thing. We upload, we check, make sure everything is good. We push the little button to go live, check it again, nothing's changed. So there's lots of
Pulaski-
checking.
Is there a warning alarm that goes off if there is an attempt to hack?
Yes, there is a way for our IT to know that something has been messed with. You know, I don't know the details of that because I'm not.
I
that
just want to know
technical
that
type
we've
of
got
person,
some
but
protection.
Yes, there is protection. Yes.
We remember the weeks the county government was down because they suffered an intrusion of very
Right.
malicious type.
Right, and that was at the county clerk's office. It was isolated to just them. We are completely separate from them. We have our own IT, our own servers, our own internal system, if you will, that's completely separate from the county clerk's office. So, yes,
Does Pulaski County use Dominion machines?
absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
They have tarnished their reputation.
So, yes, our machines are from a company called ES&S out of Omaha, Nebraska, and we've used them ever since I've been in elections. I've been at the County Election Commission for 15 years. I've never seen the machines do something they're not supposed to do.
And they've never made scandalous headlines because somebody
Right.
behaved badly with them.
Right.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Any other questions from folks? Okay.
He's got to get to that chili.
Thank you.
That's right. He has chili to probably to judge.
Here's the election dates and information
Oh,
for
okay.
next year, if you would like that.
We've got handouts. Just make sure you get out of the room with handouts.
Yes.
I'm not going to try and loft it to you. I'm sure that I will fail.
Got it.
Once again, this is live streamed, and the video will be posted on our Facebook page at clrn.ar.
Okay.
And we will continue to promote registration and turnout from now through March 3rd.
Right.
Is there anything else you can tell us to be working on and pursuing and watching out to do?
Right. So just keep paying attention to who's following and start your research now on those candidates.
When will you have the candidates filed list next week?
So currently, since all the local candidates file over at the county clerk's office, they publish that every single day at the end of filing at 5 p.m. So you can see that now at their website. I am creating a master list, if you will, with the state filing and the county filing and putting that together. So once we have our ballot draw and those candidates are official, because right now they're considered unofficial. They have to be certified to us, so they can drop out between now and then or something.
But
worse could
still,
happen.
we would like to be
Right.
preparing, like for the contested
Yes.
races, candidate
Right.
forum, February the 14th.
Right.
And we will start early at 9 because, one, the candidates want to get out and campaign on Saturday. And it will be just before early voting at that point. And secondly, we know people might have other obligations on February the 14th, and we will respect that.
Yes. But we will have.
So the earlier I can get that,
Yes.
the better for me.
We will have that at the 1st of December. We do what's called the ballot position draw on December 2nd.
I don't care about the drawing positions.
Right,
I care
right.
about the names.
Right, and then once we have that, we'll publish that list. It'll be all the contested races and what order you'll see them in on the ballot. So you'll be familiar with
And that we can then pull off and post
Mm-hmm.
to everybody.
Yes.
Have been preparing for this.
Right, and then once we get the ballots approved by the board and get those into voter view, we'll make that announcement on Facebook and folks can go out and actually look at their actual
Sample ballot.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
That is a very, very good tool that has been invented in recent years.
Right, right. And for the primary, folks will have 3 sample ballots that they will see on the website, and you'll have to decide which one you want to vote. Do you want to vote in the Democratic primary, the Republican primary, or just the nonpartisan elections? So,
Which is the judicial races.
right, right. And
Which is
and
shaping
school
up to
board.
be a bunch.
Right, and so school boards will also be on there. As you know, Little Rock School District had to rezone, so they're electing their entire school board. So you'll need to see what school zone you're in now, and
That will come into the flow of a sample ballot.
Right.
So just as, do you know what the ordering will be compared with with races versus the ballot amendments?
So
Will the school board be last now instead of the amendments being last? We always have to remind people, don't just quit after you voted for Susie Q or against Susie Q. Keep on going, because the next screen is going to have important ballots referred by the legislature and advocates groups that are really important for voters to be weighing in on. And where in that flow comes the school board?
So the school board is now only on the primary ballot. So
Is it?
Yes, so that'll be on the March 3rd election. If there's a runoff for school board, it'll be in November, like the nonpartisan
Is it?
judicial. Yeah, so they've changed that up too. But the amendments will be on the November ballot. So those will be the very last thing you see.
So if we've got some runoffs, they will come first, and the amendments
And
very
then the
last.
amendments will be last, yes. And if someone throws in a special election, like a city sales
Sales
tax or
tax,
something.
which can be done.
It'll be after the amendments. We usually throw the special elections at the very, very end.
Are there
Normally.
multiple candidates for school board, and did they split my precinct?
I don't know. You'll have to look and see. I'm not sure.
Did they split
tried.
some of
They
them?
tried to follow precinct lines, but some precincts did get split between school zones. So you
Really?
just have to look and see. And that's a
Should
very
be
common
illegal.
thing. Very, very common thing. Yes.
One quick question. With the school board, do you have, if I wanted to be on the board for school board voting, or if I want to be a candidate, is it the same process as the regular candidates? You still have to submit something by a certain time frame?
Right. That
File.
Yes.
A file?
You
Okay.
file for office like you would for any other office.
Okay.
There is a petition requirement with school board candidates, and I want to say it's 20 signatures, but the county
I
clerk's
think it may be
office will have
25. It's like when somebody runs for city board, they want you to sign their petition.
Mhm.
The category of nonpartisan races runs on signatures on a petition. That's true for judges as well. So the party candidates pay money that they raise through their organizations. The nonpartisan candidates get voters, and you have to be a registered voter. You can't get Aunt Helen. And you've got to put your registered voter name on there. So if you're known as Ducky Claiborne, you don't put Ducky Claiborne down unless that's the way you registered to vote on the signature on the petition. Or it's just thrown out and they always have to get extras because some people do that sort of silly thing.
Your
And it's
machine-
verified at headquarters.
Your machines could handle ranked choice voting, couldn't they?
I don't know. We've never done ranked choice voting in Arkansas.
It's starting to look interesting
So,
from what they're doing in other states, but I'm pretty sure that would be a long time coming here.
Especially with our legislature and Tom Cotton.
Well, from whatever, we're keeping local, Robert. Now,
Local,
keep your focus
local.
Do we have any other questions or possibilities about how we handle this? We're still in the filing period. You could run files through
through the Wednesday at noon. is the
Wednesday at
cutoff.
noon. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there you go.
possibilities are in there.
Possibilities are, yeah, that's very true. All right. Anything else from anybody? Then I will say thank you so very much, Amanda Dickens. And once again, you have changed your email address. You've gone to a .gov
Yes.
emailing address in the Pulaski County Election Commission.
That is correct.
So to reach you at the new address, it would be
a.dickens@votepulaskiar.gov. And our new website is votepulaskiar.gov.
and you can subscribe to the newsletter, which puts out all of this information as it is coming through the process. And because you went to .gov, it might be really smart to subscribe fresh, just to make sure you don't get lost in the transition.
That's correct, yes. So if you were on our email list years ago, when we made our transition, that email list did not make it. So we were asking
So we
people
know
to
for
sign up.
sure you've
Yes.
got to sign up fresh.
Sign up.
Okay.
Yes.
If what you had, that subscription is dead.
Right.
Start afresh.
Start fresh. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? We stand adjourned. Thank you so much.